You're the same.
You're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And look, South Park is known for satire and for mocking people. No one is safe. This isn't the first time they've done an episode on the royal family, but this particular episode was quite scathing and the grains of truth that it held. And I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon.
You just can't leave us alone, can you? Oh my God, he's so obsessed with us.
Wow, I know. Yeah, just have to prove like you have the proof that you're proving that you can prove the proof.
It's divine intervention that God brought you to this podcast today.
Want some pretzels? I put them in a bag myself.
These pretzels are divinely ordered.
The pretzels are so good.
Meghan Markle, they've just learned the hardest of lessons, which is, if you start a brawl, do not be surprised if you end up getting punched twice as hard. In fact, South Park has just knocked them out.
There isn't a successful lifestyle brand as ever. We sold out of everything in 45 minutes.
Amazing. You've been working so hard.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard. I worked very hard, and I'm still working very hard. It's just not for the royal family. Yet, I still insist on being called her royal.
Meghan Markle thought her podcast with Jamie Kern-Lima was deep, but days later, South Park dropped a sharp parody tearing apart her empowerment lines and fake pauses. It went viral fast, and people are calling it one of their most savage roasts, yet with an ending twist that left everyone shocked.
This woman looks to me like a malignant narcissist. This woman has zero self-awareness.
South Park has mocked stars and royals before. This one hit different. The timing right after Meghan's podcast made it feel like they were waiting to strike. Every joke landed like a blade wrapped. In comedy, from her big expressions to her constant need to prove herself, they turned it all into gold. And what stung most was the hint of truth under every laugh.
Love that your eyes are sparkling right now. You know, Meghan, how are you today? Which, by the way, I just have to say, yes.
Enjoy them.
I forgot to have fun. You're right. You're right.
Right after the podcast, with Jamie Kern-Lima blew up, South Park dropped an episode that tore it apart. They mocked the soft lights, the fake pauses, the non-stop motivational lines, and the way it all felt scripted, turning every detail into a joke. Fans laughed, cringed, and agreed, like the show finally said what everyone else was too polite to admit.
You've had it harder than literally any other person on the planet. Even Jesus, nailed up to the cross, didn't suffer as much as you.
I know.
Just love that this is what the Lord willed me to do with my will, to make another podcast where celebrities can talk about how hard their lives are, not to help people.
South Park twisted Meghan's dramatic lines into cheesy self-help jokes and exaggerated her claim of working hard, making the whole podcast feel staged. And fans said it showed exactly what they were already thinking.
If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life. Yes, I'm sure you agree, darling. We can be the people we talked about being, with no more worries about how we look or the image we project to people. What matters is what we have on.
What do Americans really think of Harry and Meghan? We despise them.
So why did you say yes to doing this show?
Because it's you. And to me, that means...
Are you okay? Oh, that's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. What's my line? How are you? I know, you always make it about me. I do. So now let's discuss. Wait, you're supposed to talk about how amazing I am at being a friend to you?
The internet went wild after clips of the South Park episode spread everywhere. People said the show finally said what everyone was thinking. Meghan's podcast felt more like a stage seminar than honesty, with buzzwords and rehearsed pauses turned into empty. Soundbites South Park just highlighted it, and fans agreed the original already felt like a performance.
Do you think you'll be married forever?
Yes.
I have a letter.
He's also a fox. If you haven't noticed, my husband's very, very handsome. But his heart is even more beautiful.
Something's up here. See that little shoulder shrug when she said yes?
Yes.
Did you hear how high her voice was when she said yes?
Yes.
When we're stressed, our larynx closes up a little bit and our voice tone gets a little bit higher. That's why the pitch of the yes is so high.
South Park took Meghan's long 2-hour podcast rant and turned it into a full roast. They dragged every dramatic pause, every awkward compliment, and even joked about her struggles being compared to real historical suffering. The mix of soft music and over-the-top worship made the whole thing feel even more absurd, and fans online said the episode nailed what already felt like self-parody.
What we're doing here is as, if not more important than solving world hunger.
Wow.
I practiced really hard to come off as genuine.
So did I.
I think it's working.
I do too.
What made it sting more was how South Park showed the podcast as one big brand ad. Not a real talk, every angle, every pause, every word looked staged, like it was made to trend on Instagram instead of connect with people. And that's why the parody hit so hard, because it felt more real than the actual podcast.
Don't care. Don't care.
What the hell?
What did he just say? He victimized me. It's because I'm an ethnic woman.
He can't do that. I'll say, wait, you're ethnic? This is an outrage. There's this horrible spy who lives across the street from us, and we're gonna get him back by changing our brand.
Is this you? Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me.
Welcome to the Jamie Kern Lima Show.
Her show is unlike any I've ever done.
A revelation. When you listen, it feels like a hug, but your brain and your spirit and your heart is like, wow.
When I look into Jamie's eyes, I feel like I am on some other cosmic level with her.
I could see the light around her. She's infused.
Then came the part that really flipped it. When South Park asked what Americans think of Harry and Meghan, they didn't give an answer. They just let fake smiles, awkward pauses, and eye rolls tell the stories, showing how staged the whole thing felt. And that dry humor hit harder than any rant, and fans could not stop watching or quoting.
Before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
They will end up at one point in their life, maybe when they're 16 or when they're 18, that I say, here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
Because that's really what you want when you're 18. 40,000 emails, Maureen, from your mother.
These emails are so that when my children are of age, they can come to me and say, oh my God, you loved us so much. It's me.
It's divinely ordered how many times we've said I and me. Why did you say yes to this show?
And then you're like, do it. I was like, what? You're like, do it. I was like, what? You're like, do it. And then I was scared.
Yeah.
Tone of the funniest parts was how South Park kept throwing around words like growth power and healing. Like they were the characters would cut each other off just to drop another buzzword. And it felt more like a cheesy workshop than a real talk. And people online loved it because the interview already sounded that way. And South Park just made it obvious, showing how trying too hard to sell inspiration can totally backfire.
There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
You'll make yourself cry. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yes, took them out of the box, put them in some other packets, which seems to be Meghan's idea of cooking.
South Park took it up a notch when they showed Meghan saying yes to being married forever in this super fake way with a weird pitch and awkward shrug that made it look so staged. And then they compared their podcast mission to solving world hunger without even needing a punchline because the silliness spoke for itself. The pauses were long, the tone was dramatic, but the words felt empty. That's what made people laugh even harder.
There is no doubt about it that Meghan Markle's viral video created a new negative wave of backlash against her that resulted in many other studios actually deciding to put any kind of affiliation with her either to a halt or firing her directly. That's exactly what happened with both Paramount and
South Park went after the non-stop need for praise by making it look like every single thing Meghan said was followed by over-the-top lapping and fake cheers, turning the whole podcast into something that felt more like a staged play than a real talk. And that's why it hit so hard, because viewers already felt like they were being spoon-fed reactions. And once South Park exaggerated it, everyone could see the act clear as day.
Zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. That is a title that was stripped from her when she and Harry made their whole racism debacle and left the UK, left their royal duties, and moved to the US to bug all of us. She's using it in private with her friends. That's even weirder than if they were still trying to milk the titles in public. That is just like all the confirmation that I need that this woman is just obsessed with being a royal, that is all this was all about. That she's angry that she screwed the pooch by claiming racism and basically getting kicked out of the family. She just can't give up the HRH titles that quickly. Like, this is literally what she has always wanted.
South Park pushed it even further by showing Meghan acting like a victim in the most dramatic way, saying she was attacked just for being an ethnic woman, and then flipping it into a whole branding moment where the characters suddenly rebranded themselves as wronged heroes. And it was funny because it showed how the whole thing felt less like real pain and more like a marketing move, mixing activism with influencer-style drama, and viewers could not stop laughing at how perfectly it exposed the spin South Park roasted the dramatic vibes too, showing Meghan showering the host with wild cosmic-style email compliments like, "Your show feels like a hug for the soul," or "I saw light around you turning normal rays into some kind of spiritual awakening," and it made the whole thing look staged instead of real. And that was the point when something feels too polished. People stop believing it. So the parody hit hard because it showed how easy it is for fake sincerity to look ridiculous. South Park really went all in with the nightly emails gag. They showed mountains of unread notes stacked so high that by the time the kids could actually read them, they would be buried under thousands of messages. It flipped something meant to feel sweet into a joke about turning private. Family rituals into public content, then the actors' trick part where characters showed how to cry on command without ever shedding a real tear, which felt like a sly way of saying emotions can look staged when formed for the camera. They even poked at the makeup-free reveal, turning it into a skit where characters tried to look raw and natural but ended up looking rehearsed instead. And then the pacing joke was brutal. The podcast was stretched into a never-ending lecture full of long pauses and dramatic looks that made characters zone out or switch it off halfway through, which many viewers admitted they also felt in real life. Finally, they roasted the fashion activism with characters in ridiculous outfits that were supposed to scream meaningful but came across like poor branding. And the best part is, they didn't have to twist anything too far. They just exaggerated what was already there. And by doing that, they showed how when every detail feels staged, even the real moments start to feel fake. Internet loved every second of it.